This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
This job would be great if it wasn't for the fucking customers.
You're always this stupid. It is you take lessons.
Just calm down.
Oh, fuck you!
You can't handle the truth.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
In other words, be nice, asshole.
Let's get started. I feel like shit, so everybody please bear with me. I caught my son's terrible cold, but welcome to Q's and Cucumber. This is the podcast where we point and laugh at stupid customers, companies, and coworkers alike. I'm Lar Mac.
And I'm Tanya Edwards.
All right, so couple things. I wanted to give some shout outs actually to some new super fans that we got on the YouTube channel. They left some really nice comments and they've been so sweet. So Katie Hood on YouTube, let me find her comment here. Oh, she says, dang, I really like you guys' stuff. Your deep dives are so well researched. Mad respect, ladies. Thank you so much, Katie. That was very sweet. I'm actually working on our next deep dive, which I finally got into the Volkswagen scandal. Do you remember that?
Why does it sound familiar?
So the Volkswagen scandal was the thing from about 5 years ago where they had all these commercials with these little old ladies that were like hearing about cars. Their clean diesel cars from this hot guy, and the guy would like go to the back of the car where the muffler was and would like hold a scarf up to it, and nothing, like the scarf was still the same color, like it didn't get dirty. And that was their big advertisement, was they had created the first like clean diesel engine, and it was all a cheat. They installed a device on all of the cars that would cheat the emissions tests, and it actually polluted about 50 times more than any other car.
Fucking Volkswagen.
I know, right? Oh my God. It fucked them. If you look at just the Wikipedia page alone, is like consequences in every country, consequences in South Africa, consequences in China, consequences in the United States, consequences in Germany. Like, I mean, billions.
That's crazy.
Like, just glancing through the list of the consequences, it would not surprise me if it cost them about $100 billion. Like,
Jesus.
It's crazy.
Wow.
And there's a book called Faster, Higher, Farther, or Faster, Farther, Higher, or something like that I started listening to. Just the history of Volkswagen alone is incredibly interesting to me, because it essentially was a passion project of Hitler's. Like,
well, you can't go wrong there, you know.
No, not at all. So it's really interesting. That's going to be our next deep dive. And then we got, who else? Oh, I think I'm 99% sure I'm saying this right, but please forgive me if I'm not. On YouTube, his name is Pungai Fungi.
Okay.
And he's like, I assume it's a he, but I could be wrong. But let's take a look here. It says, they said, I don't think I'll survive reading the book by John Carreyrou, as I think I will get very angry. Yes, you will. You will. But they also say, I so enjoy hearing you guys tearing this psycho into pieces. And they commented on almost all of our episodes on Elizabeth Holmes. And they also said, this is one of the funniest podcasts over that sociopath Elizabeth Holmes. Other people made it sound so serious and even tried to rationalize and justify her actions. Well, she did have good intentions. No, she didn't.
What do they say? The road to hell is paved with
good
intentions.
Exactly. Thank you. Exactly. The road to hell. Thank you very much. Like, and honestly, I still don't believe she had good intentions.
No.
I think she was just a narcissist sociopath. Like just who wanted to, it wasn't really about, I don't really get the impression it was about the money. I get the impression that it was just about being seen as being the youngest, most, influential person in the world. Like, it felt like it just felt like an ego thing. It didn't even really, to me, feel like it was about the money necessarily. It was about wanting to be perceived as this genius
Right.
that was changing the world
Right.
and
Oh,
doing a
look at
good
me.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm going to use my power for good, not evil bullshit.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I really do not feel like it was. Yeah, no, it was not.
Right.
No, I don't really care. It's ridiculous. And then I'm probably going to say your last name wrong, Kevin. So please forgive me. This is Kevin. His last name is spelled Kuncel. I want to say it's Kunsel or Kunkel or something like that. I'm very sorry. I know I'm saying it wrong. But he commented, "Hello, this is very good, and I love the optics of these type of cases through a solution center perspective. Thank you both for putting this together, and I'm a new subscriber. Your channel should be much, much larger. I'll be working to catch up on the rest of your videos. Kudos and well done."
Aw, thank you. Thanks,
Thank you,
Kev.
Kevin. All right. Now we're also, so thank you to all of our new subscribers, all of our new fans. We appreciate it. We're also going to, at the end of, after we're done talking about the two topics I want to talk about, we got an email from our other super fan, Karen. Hashtag not all Karens.
Right, right. Karen's the
'cause
shit
in
though,
our-
because Karen, Karen,
Karen is the shit.
right, because Karen comments on everything, and she's like, "I know you're going to talk about this." Hey, she always, because she knows,
She's amazing.
she knows our ratchet asses have something to say about every fucking thing that goes on in the world. Like, oh,
She calls it out too.
she does. She does. She knows that we are gonna. I don't care if they said that somebody farted sideways in Congress. Oh, we're on that shit. We are on it.
And she knows it too. So she'll
She
message us
does.
like, "I know y'all are gonna talk about this,
Right,
right?"
yeah.
Like, yes, we are. But in our last episode where we talked about the Capitol riots, I specifically asked, I was like, because I know her family are big Trumpers, and I was like, I really want to know how they're responding. And she sent us an email, and some follow-up emails.
Oh, she had to add to it, like, and another thing.
Oh yeah, she sent us the first email, the second email, and a message on Facebook, with like a little PS.
Oh Lord. See, and normally I'll answer the messages on Facebook, but lately I have been like trying to work, go to doctor's appointments, and move.
Oh, you just said the doctor's appointment. Can we talk about your good news from your doctor's
Oh,
appointment?
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so I had my recently on the 20th of January was my 1 year cancer anniversary. Yay, 1 year cancer free. I had my 1 year follow up with my surgeon, and she officially discharged me from the cancer program through her office. So now I just have 4 more years of seeing my oncologist every 15 minutes.
Well, I'm clapping.
Yeah,
probably.
but still, I mean, that's one less doctor's appointment.
step.
That's a step, So,
Right.
I'm still on the whole. I have to see my oncologist every 3 months deal for the next few years, and then I move to every 6 months. But yeah, all my numbers are coming back good. My white blood count is increasing. I don't have any. So since I am diabetic, she was kind of concerned about my healing process and if it would, if I would get an infection and anything else. So they kept a really close
Right.
eye on me. But Dr. Sharon was at UC Health here in Colorado Springs. If you're in Colorado Springs and you have been diagnosed with breast cancer, you need to see Dr. Sharon, Dr. Ingrid Sharon. If she isn't the best fucking doctor ever,
Oh, you talked about her so much. She's amazing.
she's amazing. My oncologist is a fucking rock star too, Dr. Malat. And then I had my what is it called? What the hell? The gynecology, the OBGYN oncologist. His name is
Yeah.
Dr. Picard. I know Carly had a fucking kick out of that. Like, she thought that was the best shit ever, that his name was Dr. Picard. And he was amazing, too. But I got very lucky that I did get Dr. Sharon, because anytime I tell somebody, when we're talking about it, and they're like, oh, who did you have for your surgeon? And I tell them Dr. Sharon, they just start crying because she's that amazing. And even when I got my tattoo done on my chest, because my entire chest is covered.
Right.
With the tattoo. And when I got that, even the tattoo guy, Jeff at Bearded Lady, he's fucking awesome. I love him. He was like, ah, damn, your scar tissue is amazing. Like, it's not. Like, because scar tissue is really hard to cover, and it's really hard to, like, yeah. And mine is minimal. Like, it's just, it looks like you maybe cut yourself shaving your legs. It's like that.
Wow.
That's how thin it is. So,
And I mean, I've seen the tattoo, so I've seen the scar. And honestly, like, you can't even really tell. Like, you would just think you were looking at, like, a back tattoo or something.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Not with how minimal it is.
Yeah. So, but she released me from the whole cancer program through the surgeon's office. So in 2 weeks I go see my oncologist, but I'm 1 year. I'm 1 year out, 4 more years, and I'm officially, like, right now, I guess they say I'm in remission. So 4 more years of this crap.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so yay. That's a huge thing, especially with me being BRCA positive, because I stand such a high chance of recurrence. So yay, 1 year, I'm good. Yeah, so.
That's fantastic.
Yep, and so what I'm going to do is, going forward on my 1 year, I'm going to have more flowers, like at least one more flower or another butterfly or something added to my chest. So I'll have a ton of them every year. I'll just be covered in
that's
flowers.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. Good news. All right, so let's talk about 2 news stories I wanted to touch on.
Oh, wait, before I forget.
We'll talk about...
Before I forget.
What's up?
We need to look into this whole Army Hammer being a cannibal, sex cannibal bullshit, because this shit is creeping me out.
What?
You've not heard of this?
I'm sorry, you cut out there for a second.
Oh.
The sex cannibal? Who?
Army
Hammer. Army Hammer?
Yes. Like.
Oh, yeah, that whole thing is weird. I have not followed it, but I saw them talking about it on Bill Maher last night.
Yeah, I read about it. I read about it a few weeks ago, right? And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. And then apparently, like, he told the girl he wanted to take her rib out and eat it. And just all kinds. There's actually a name for it. I forget what it's called. It's like some big, long name. But that is...
It's not a big, long name. It's called being a fucking freak. Like... Weirdo.
If my big ass was having sex with someone, they said they wanted to eat me, they would get their ass kicked right there. I would punch him. That bitch would get punched in the ear and beat the fuck down. You want to what, you sick fuck?
Be like, excuse me.
No, sir. Not today. Yeah, anyway, sorry.
This is not rib eating Wednesdays.
Right,
okay?
right, yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're not going to live off the fat of my land. Get the fuck out of here. I can't even imagine. Like, the shock. And I'm not easily shocked. But the shock. Like, what did you just say? Pardon me, sir. I don't know what you're thinking is going on here. But that's not how we're going to get down.
No. You know what? It reminds me of this guy I went on a couple of dates with. And like, hearing about the Army Hammer thing, this dude that I dated, I feel like he would be that person. Okay? Tell me if you don't think this sounds like somebody who would do what Army Hammer did. We went on our first date. Very nice, very sweet guy, right? He was a perfect gentleman, very nice. Went out on our second date, went and played pool, met his sister and her husband happened to be there. Had a great time, had our first kiss, life was grand. And then he invited me over to his house. and he was like, let's watch a movie together. And he lived down in Fountain near my parents. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, no big deal. So he had asked me to pick a movie. And the movie that we picked, because he talked about how, like, no, I'm not the typical dude. Like, I really love romantic comedies. And Love Actually had just come out. And I was like, have you seen it yet? And he was like, no. I said, oh, it's so sweet. It's so good. We should watch it. Okay, fine. So he had told me on our first date that, because I was like, what's the weirdest thing about you? Like, let's just get this out the way right now. What's the weirdest thing about yourself? Tell me. And he was like, well, I collect toys from the 80s. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's not that bad. Like, okay, cool. Well, I get to his house, and there's, like, he's got, like, a little, it's like maybe an acre of land, and he's got this barn. And he takes me into the barn, and I shit you not, this barn is floor to ceiling, filled all the way around the room, right? Lined up against the walls with plastic totes. And I was like those big, like, storage bin things. And I was like, that's either body parts or porn. Like, I don't know. Like, that was my first thought. And he was like, no, these are my Cabbage Patch Kids.
Fuck you.
And I was like,
nope. No.
Oh, when you said you collect toys from the 80s, like, you were serious, right? And I was very uncomfortable, but I was like, okay, he had already told me this. I'll stick around for a little bit longer. We go inside, and I shit you not, floor to ceiling, his house is wallpapered with action figures. And I don't mean like, oh, he's got them everywhere. I mean, they're still in the blister packs that they come in, and they're stapled to the walls, floor to ceiling, every single room. His bedroom is nothing but Bart Simpson action figures. No. And I'm thinking, there is no way you've gotten laid in this room.
No.
Right? And I'm thinking, this is weird. How do I get out of here? So we sit down and we start talking, because I'm just, like, trying to focus on anything else other than this psycho stuff that's around me. And we sit down and we start talking about, like, favorite movies. And we're talking about trilogies and Star Wars, and because movies is kind of, you know, a go-to area. Yeah. And I'm like, I said, I assume that you really like the Harry Potter movies. And he says, no, I really don't. And I was like, really? Why? And he was like, I hate British people. I can't understand them.
What?
They
fucking speak English, you turd. Like,
I was like, you're racist against British people? It's a weird group.
Right. But, is that a thing?
Okay. He was like, I can't understand them. And I was like, okay. And he says, do you want to watch the movie we rented? I mean, I'm like, you mean Love Actually? The British movie? Right.
That I'm going to have to translate for you because you're too stupid to understand English?
Thank you. And then he actually said, well, if I can't understand them, I'll have you translate. I'm like, you want me to sit and translate English into English for you?
Right.
So we sit down on this couch, right? The couch, his pets have completely destroyed. And basically, I'm sitting in a hole.
No,
on this couch.
You're a lot more patient than me.
And he starts, oh, girl, this was the last step right before I got out of there. Then we start watching the movie. He lights a cigarette. He puts the ashtray, he sets it on my leg.
The fuck? No.
And starts ashing his cigarette on. And thank God at that moment, my girlfriend Sharon texted me. And I was like, oh, Sharon is stuck on the side of the road with a flat tire. I got to go. And I left, and I never responded to another text, another call. And when I heard the Army Hammer story, that was my first thought, was that dude. Because I'm like, I feel like that dude would be the dude that whispered in the middle of sex, I want to eat your rib.
Right. Like, I feel like this is part of a big part of the reason why I'm single. Because everything is a fucking red flag to me. Everything.
Yeah.
you know, I
But then again, you have the history to kind of back that
well,
up.
yeah,
No offense.
but no, I do. So now my spidey senses fucking tingle every time something seems off, and it could
Hmm.
just be that you might just have some quirks, but I'm not here for it, sir. I'm
No.
not. I can't. I'm not putting
You've had enough
no.
of quirks
Right,
in your
right,
love
right.
life.
You know, I'm over it. I'm
Yeah.
so over it. But anything that seems a little off or weird. No, no. I just
No.
can't. If I go over to your house and it's dirty, we're done. Because if you live like that, no, I
Hmm.
can't do it.
No.
Um, I cannot do it. If you talk about cartoon characters all the time, fuck you, grow up. I just can't. I
Yeah.
can't, but then you see like somebody like fucking Army Hammer. I just because I've had guys that like me, but I think, there's that whole bunch of weirdos that really like fat chicks, right? And some of them just like us, they like us, but
Yeah.
some of them are like, oh,
Some of them are
yeah,
way too
you
like there's
know,
chubby chasers and then there's
yeah,
weirdos.
yeah, yeah. So apparently Facebook has like this dating thing on it, and I didn't know. They just automatically put it
What?
on. Yeah, so I didn't know what it was, right? So I was like, what the hell is this? So I keep getting these messages, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, it'll say something like, and I had to like take it off my phone, but it'll say Bob and Sam liked you in dating. So I clicked on it. I was like, what is this shit? So it's something that they added, right? So this guy messages me and he was like, oh, I like big girls, da 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 da. And he was like, big girls tend to be more gassy than skinny girls. And
Uh,
and I like it when a woman passes gas. What are you? Fuck you. What is going
that's
on?
your opening line?
Right, right. And I was like, oh, well,
Wow,
for
sir.
one, didn't want this dating thing on my phone, so I had to delete that um, on my Facebook. But just weirdos, weird.
You don't share that until at least 8 months into a relationship. I'm
Well, who
sorry.
wants somebody farting on them, really? Like, come on.
No.
What kind of
Well,
you? That's fucking odd. That's
that's a
disgusting.
little. It's just
Yeah.
weird to me that it was the opening line.
Yeah,
That's what's
I
strange
I'll
to me.
take you saying you want to eat my fucking fat rib over me farting on you, you fucking freako. Ugh, Jesus.
All right, so we're going to talk about two stories today. One is the subway story. Have you seen this?
So I mean, I don't like Subway. I think it's gross, but
Right.
and I'm just real funny
But you've
about
seen the
like
story, right?
yeah, it's not fish. Like what's going on? What are they using?
Okay, well we're gonna talk about it. Good Lord. Okay, so Subway already has been kind of like in trouble. And I read this big long article about the things that they've been doing over the years that have just made it like they were like they had 44,000 stores worldwide and they tried to change it to say or tried to expand to say, oh, we want 100,000 stores. But even McDonald's has understood like if you put too many McDonald's around, like franchises aren't making as much money and they're not as profitable, and then franchisees don't want to start them. Like it's kind of a duh because you're thinning out your customer base,
Right.
and it's costing you more to operate all these locations. Like Subway has just been in kind of the shit, and obviously we all know about the Jared Fogle thing.
Right.
Like
And then their footlongs aren't actually a foot long and
right. Now that was that yeah, that's they actually were, but yeah, that's a whole other can of worms. But this tuna thing. Now, part of what makes the tuna thing funny to me is that there was there was this story a while back that it says, remember when we found out that some of the ingredients in Subway's quote unquote freshly baked bread are also used to make yoga mats?
Yeah, I saw that.
So we're not off to a good start to begin with. Okay. But the tuna thing is funny to me. So basically, this lawsuit gets filed that says they did all these tests on the tuna from the Subway's tuna sandwich to see if it was what was in it, basically. And the results were not only is there no tuna, but there's no fish protein of any kind. Right? Now, it doesn't lay out what it actually is, but when your tuna sandwich gets tested in a lab and you find out not only is it not tuna, it's not fish at all.
Right, it's just shit they find at the bottom of the sea, probably. I mean, come on.
Now, here's the thing. I read this article and was like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. But still, they say that they use flaked tuna. Now, anytime you're looking at tuna, you've got, solid tuna, chunk tuna, or flake tuna. Flake tuna is the cheapest version of canned tuna you can get, which, of course, it's Subway. They're not using the most expensive tuna.
Right,
Like, are
something
you
caught
kidding
off
me?
the coast of Hawaii and it's fresh every day. No.
Right, of course.
You're getting a big-ass sandwich for $5. What do you expect?
Exactly. Now, this is something interesting. The smaller the tuna is diced, the more it can absorb liquid, the liquid that it's packed in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's oil or water, the flake tuna can actually absorb 20% of the water and brine that it comes in. And Subway's ingredient list indicates their tuna is packed in water. So it's 20% of it is like, it's absorbing 20% more water. Like,
Right.
So that's diluting it. Plus the brine, you've got it, packed in. Apparently there's more salt. Half of what scientists say that you should have of your daily salt intake is just one of these sandwiches. Like, apparently it's that much fucking salt. But the fact that it's not clear what it is, but the excuse is so far is that, oh, well, it's packed in water and salt and all these other things, and this chemical, what is this chemical called? The tuna salad is based on flaked tuna and brine, which is a mix of canned tuna, water, and salt. Among lemon juice, sugar, and mustard, the tuna salad also contains egg and the preservative calcium disodium EDTA, which is considered safe by the FDA and is even used in medicine, but the FDA has set limits on its consumption. So there's so much shit in this crap that it seems like maybe the test can't pick up the tuna because there's so much other bullshit in it. But they're still not sure. But Subway they're fucking stupid. Here was the thing that I was like, oh, now we gotta talk about this. This is retarded. So they respond to the lawsuit by saying, like, yes, of course it's real tuna and blah, 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 blah. Right? But apparently it also has soybean in it, I guess.
Oh, it's a good filler. What?
I'm just like, okay. But now, get this crap. So Subway, this is just, to me, this speaks to, like, how this is completely tone deaf, right? They're like, well, it's already one of the cheapest sandwiches on the menu. As of February 2021, Subway's tuna sandwich is currently on sale at quote-unquote participating restaurants. They're giving a 15% discount. And if you order online, this is where I'm like, you're fucking tone deaf. If you order online, the promo code for it is quote-unquote, it's real.
No, it's not.
But the promo code says it's real, Tanya. Doesn't that make it so?
I mean, it's real shit, like sea urchin, seaweed, a dolphin, a turtle, maybe a couple of shark fins from there, a foot. You don't know. I mean,
maybe it's part of Ursula from The Little Mermaid.
You
Who fucking knows?
come on now, like, because I assume I'm assuming this, okay? So I don't know if it's true or not, but I just assume that if given all of the other issues that Subway has had in the past, I don't really think that they are out there like, Chicken of the Sea where they're like dolphin friendly or dolphin free or whatever, right? So who knows what's being caught whenever they
Oh, and that was part of this article where they talked about how like these endangered tuna that are on the list, like they don't use those, but the ones that they do catch, it doesn't necessarily mean what they do use is caught eco-friendly or anything like that. Like basically what they're saying is they're hiding behind terms that make it seem like it's good for the planet and blah blah blah, but who knows.
Right.
Plus, one of the tunas that they do claim that they catch is the tuna that has the most mercury in it.
Oh, well, tuna in general has a lot of mercury in it. Like, that's why they tell
Right.
pregnant women not to eat it, right?
Right.
And if you eat a lot of tuna over a prolonged period of time, like,
It can drive you crazy.
it can fuck up your health. So, I mean, because I like tuna, because, I have this meat aversion now.
Right.
So, I eat a lot of tuna, a lot of eggs, stuff like that. But whenever I buy my tuna, I buy chunk tuna because it's healthier.
Right.
And then I buy it in the water, not the oil, because I don't want greasy tuna.
No, that's gross.
And if I go get a sandwich from someplace, like I'll go to the Chiba Hut, and their tuna. Oh my God! If y'all haven't had a Chiba Hut tuna sandwich, it's the chunks of tuna, like big chunks of tuna, and it's not globbed with mayonnaise and pickle relish and stuff like that. It's really good tuna.
Oh.
Yeah, I was really surprised because it's the Chiba Hut, right? And I mean, they sell fucking Kool-Aid, but their tuna, that's one of the options for the drinks, Kool-Aid.
There you go.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think a lot of people, whenever they go eat places, some people like look at different alternatives, and they look at what might be more healthy and stuff. And then you have some place like Subway, who's like, oh, well, there's only 400 calories in this 6-inch sandwich or whatever. But then you don't even know what you're eating.
No.
Like, I don't eat a lot of fast food anymore anyways.
Right.
But you don't even know what you're eating. Like, you
could
told
be
me
eating
that.
yoga mats, for God's sake.
Right.
Like just the bread alone.
I'll have a 6-inch yoga mat with some of that whatever you call tuna, that
That not real tuna.
right, some of that sea urchin spread on top of it. What the no.
Can I get a yoga mat with some Ursula carcass on it, please?
Right. It's just misleading. It's so
Absolutely.
misleading.
But to me, it's one of these things where I'm like, look, if your defense is we've added so much shit to it that you can't even detect in a laboratory that there's tuna in it,
Right.
that's a shitty defense.
Right.
Like-
Right. Like our not so tuna sandwich. So,
Right. Like,
no.
we can't even say it's a kind of tuna sandwich. We could, like,
It's a not so tuna sandwich.
exactly.
They're singing a different tune over there.
It's a two-knot sandwich.
Right. Like,
Good
it's,
Lord.
that's and then just to think, like, I can honestly say I've never had a tuna fish sandwich from Subway.
Me
And
either. I've never had one either.
it just, because whenever I was young, I worked at Subway, and it just looked sketchy as shit to me.
Yes,
But
it has.
It looks sketchy, that color, everything else.
Yeah.
And normally whenever I go to Subway, I get a veggie delight. Like, even before I stopped eating a lot of meat, I would get a veggie delight, just loaded up with all the vegetables except for the lettuce, because I don't trust your lettuce. It's been out all day and it's still green. What did you put on it?
Yeah. I don't eat lettuce from any fast food place because they do put a chemical on it that keeps it from
Keeps it
going
green.
brown.
See?
And it makes me sick. Like, I was sick for a while and I couldn't figure out what the hell it was. And because you know me and my stomach. And that was one of the things that my doctor was like, if you eat fast food, do not eat fast food lettuce. Like, don't get lettuce on anything. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's
Oh,
weird.
look, what's on TV right now? A
What?
fucking Subway commercial. Yeah, now they have these protein bowls. No thanks. Protein.
Is there fish protein in it? You might want
Right.
to put
Is
that
it
in
actually
the tuna
chicken?
sandwich. Like,
Right. Is it actually chicken or is it some other bizarre made in a lab, can't detect one piece of chicken in it kind of,
yeah,
or am I eating paint flakes? What's going on? Like,
yeah. We have no clue. We do.
no, no.
Apparently Subway has some sort of like don't ask, don't tell about policy about their
Right,
ingredients.
right,
Like, if you don't ask, we won't tell you.
right. And sometimes you're just better off not knowing.
Exactly. That's going to be their next promo code. Don't ask, don't tell.
Don't ask, don't tell. Just a question mark.
Oh my god. All right, now let's talk about the big question. We got a ton of emails, ton of questions with people asking us to explain the GameStop thing. Okay.
Laura had to call me and explain it to me because I was like, wait a minute. What the fuck is going on? Like,
now, I would just like to say something, and I know that I don't know why this bothers me, and I don't think it bothers me for the reason that I saw a bunch of, like, those articles that you see that are like the funniest tweets about blank issue or blank scandal or whatever.
right.
You know what I'm talking about? And it's like a compilation of like the funniest tweets about whatever the news of the day is, right? Well, a whole bunch of tweets in some of those articles that I read about the GameStop thing, I was like, come on, that's not funny. And it just really bothered me. All these girls that are commenting, like, I have big boobs, so I don't understand the GameStop story. Or I'm pretty, I don't need to understand the GameStop story. And I'm like, okay, so advertising to the world that you're a moron on purpose. Like, it's just not funny to me. And I saw that so fucking much. And I was like, why is that funny? Like, it's just not. Like, okay. And I get it. Maybe it's like, well, you don't think it's funny because you're not pretty. Okay, fine. I'll take that. But I don't think that's the reason. I just don't think it's funny to advertise like, I have big boobs and I'm a moron, so come take advantage of me.
Right.
Like,
Right.
okay.
I'm a
idiot.
blonde and I'm stupid. Like, you're just feeding into the stereotype.
Exactly.
Dummy.
Like, it's not
Yeah.
funny. I don't know why
Yeah.
those were included in the list, but okay, fine. All right. The GameStop thing. Now, I'm going to simplify this as best I can. And you're going to have questions. I guarantee you, anybody who hears this explanation, you're going to have questions. Because I guarantee you, I had questions. And I tried my best to fill in the blanks of those questions because I did get the answers, but I couldn't think of an easy way to explain it because I'm not an economics professor. But we'll go from here. So, the GameStop thing. What happened was GameStop is a brick and mortar company that has not really kept up with the times, and they sell video games, okay? And now that people can download video games, their business has been suffering. Now, there is an app that launched, I believe, back in 2013 called Robinhood. And Robinhood's quote-unquote lofty goal was to democratize the stock market, to allow retail investors, so not institutional investors, not investors like from a bank like JP Morgan Chase or whatever, right, investing in a stock. Instead, these are individuals by themselves who can purchase stocks and sell them on a whim, okay? And their goal is to allow access to the stock market to everyone. Okay, fine. Sounds good. Now, there's also a Reddit page, Wall Street Bets. That's what it's called. Okay, so the Reddit page, Wall Street Bets. Basically, what was happening was a whole bunch of short sellers had targeted GameStop along with AMC for short selling. Now, what Tanya didn't understand that I called to explain to her was how short selling works. Here's the simplest explanation that I can come up with. Let's say I'm a short seller and Tanya is a brokerage house, okay? So not an individual person who owns a stock, but a brokerage firm, okay? And Tanya has stock in GameStop that's not owned specifically by an individual. Okay? Tanya can loan me, the short seller, the stock. And let's say the stock is trading at $3, okay, at the time that I take it. As a short seller, I'm going to immediately turn around and sell it, okay? So now I have $3. The goal being, and the bet being, that GameStop is in trouble and the stock is going to go down. If the stock goes down, let's say the stock goes down to $1. Now I turn around and buy it back for $1. Okay? I turn around and give the stock back to Tanya, who now started with a stock, and now she has a stock again, because all I did was borrow it, right? It's worth less, but she still has it. And I get to keep that $2. That's how short selling works. I borrow a stock, turn around, immediately sell it. I hope the stock goes down and I can snatch it up for less, and I make a profit on the difference. So whenever people start short selling a stock, it kind of manipulates the market all by itself, because people see you do this and they think, oh, the smart money is betting that it's going to go down, so I'm going to sell my stock. It manipulates the market to drive the price down just by doing it, right? Now, all these hedge fund people and all these short sellers, they were going big on short selling GameStop. Well, a whole bunch of people, including the guy that's the focus in that movie, The Big Short, right? He was actually arguing with GameStop that it could be saved. He was like writing them letters and stuff like, here's what you should do, right? Trying to figure out how to save it, okay? But all of a sudden, this, Wall Street Bets Reddit page, they were like, let's buy GameStop and let's shoot the stock price as high as it can go to fuck with these Wall Street short sellers. So I think, and I could be wrong, I think the stock was at like $17 or $49, something like that. It was less than $50, I believe, right? And all of these Wall Street Bets guys on Reddit, they started buying up the stock like crazy, to where the stock shot up. The stock price shot up to like $341 a share. So guess what has to happen? Those short sellers have to give the stock back to the people they borrowed from.
Right.
So now they sold it for $17, but now they got to pay $340 a share to give it back to the brokers. Right? Now, the brokers make money by commissions and things like that, but now these short sellers are like lost billions. One major company lost like 50% of its entire company, like all of its capital. They've lost billions over it. Now, of course, GameStop stock is dropping like a rock now, but I mean, some people made millions of dollars on it. Right? You think about it. You buy it for $17, turn around and sell it for $315. Like,
right. You made a
lot
shit
of
ton of money.
money.
And I was reading an article where that Michael Burry was like, hey, if anybody profited from this that really could have used it, you're welcome. Like, I'm glad you got to do better for yourself, But I guess the stock went up to like, it skyrocketed 1,737% in a week.
Now, here's the rub. What ticked people off? Two things. Number one, all these fucking Wall Street assholes who make money off manipulating the stock market, right? They make money by just announcing, or just, them saying they're betting against a company manipulates the stock market. They all went out and were whining and crying, this is market manipulation. You do it every fucking day.
They do it all the time.
Right. Now you're mad that little guys did it? Fuck you. Nobody feels sorry for you. Go sit on your, go sit in one of your 12 houses and cry. I don't give a shit. You know, like, fuck off. So that was funny. But what really pissed people off was because the stock was shooting up, right? And it was creating a ton of volatility in the market in general because people were like, what the fuck is happening, right? Robinhood, the app that claims to be democratizing the stock market, they shut down the ability for people to trade GameStop. And everybody was like, excuse me, hello? You did that to protect these Wall Street assholes. You didn't do that to protect the little guy that you're claiming you're democratizing the stock market for. You did it to protect the big fish. Fuck you. So Robinhood kind of fucked themselves here by doing it and pissed off both Republicans and Democrats. Because Democrats were like, wait, hold the phone. The little guy finally is like getting somewhere and you shut it down. And Republicans are sitting here going, wait. We believe in free markets. That's restricting some people from not being able to trade is not a free market. Fuck you. So now everybody's pissed off, right? Republicans, Democrats, the SEC, everybody's mad at everybody. And I'm just sitting, and what's funny to me is the GameStop like founder was like, I'm just sitting back eating popcorn. I'm not involved in this. Like he thinks it's funny.
So, and I was trying to figure out like what brought this on, right? What brought it all on. And apparently the guy who founded Chewy, that pet supply place.
Oh, yeah. He's part of it too.
Yeah, he bought a stake in the company and then he got a spot on their board. So then that's when
I think he got 3 spots on the board.
That
didn't he?
Wall Street Bets or whatever was kind of piqued their attention. And then that's when they started doing it. So yeah, that's crazy.
The whole thing is just, to me, it's this weird kind of space where you're like, I feel like GameStop is just sitting, like I said, the founder just being like, I'm just sitting back with popcorn because this is weird. GameStop is like, we didn't plan for any of this. Like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Right.
But like, so you've got Wall Street bitching that they got screwed out of money when, you know, they screw people constantly. Oh, it's just rich to me that they're, they made us lose a lot of money. Welcome to the world. Like, these people who probably made you lose a lot of money, I guarantee you they've lost a lot of money themselves because of you. So fuck off. I don't want to hear from these Wall Street guys. These little guys are manipulating the markets. Only we're allowed to do that. Fuck you. Take your ball and go home. You whiny little bitches.
Because it's not just GameStop, I guess. It's AMC, American Airlines, and BlackBerry. Fuck me. I didn't even know they still made Blackberries. Like I didn't know
BlackBerry was still a company.
I didn't know that was still. Do people use? Like, let me hit you up on my BlackBerry Pearl. Like I.
Oh my god! I have not had a BlackBerry since before TJ was. Before I was pregnant with TJ, for God's sake.
I think I got it on the iPhone, like at iPhone 4. And yeah, and I tried to have something different for a while, and I was like, this is stupid, and I just got another iPhone. But yeah, I have not seen anyone with a BlackBerry in like
ages.
God, it's been over 10 years. Like how's
you
that
know,
BlackBerry
the last time
treating you? Like,
you know, the last time I saw a BlackBerry, I was watching Numbers, that TV show that ended like in 2012. I binged it the other day, and what's funny is the show really does hold up. The only thing that gives it away that it's not a current show
is the BlackBerry.
Is the phones. Is because they're all on BlackBerries. That's the only thing. And at one point, they're on flip phones early in the show. Like. That's really the only thing that gives it away. That's the last time I saw a BlackBerry on a show that ended 9 years ago.
Right,
like,
right. I didn't even know that BlackBerries were still, like, I was Like whenever I heard it when I was watching the news and they were talking about it and they said BlackBerry and I was like, surely they're not talking about the phone. And then
You were like, actual blackberries? Like,
actual,
in the grocery store?
like fruit, or are we talking about the phones? Because I feel like the little fruit, the little berries in the store are more relevant than the fucking phones are at this point. Because I make smoothies all the time, so really,
Maybe that's something that can go with the rape oil. Like,
yes, and it's a real thing. Mix your rape oil with your blackberries.
take a listen to the end of our last episode and you'll know what we're talking about with the rape oil in case you missed it.
And
Oh
it's
my
not
god, it's
meant
just
to offend. Calm your tits.
no, it's not. But I mean, it's just the fact that there's so many moving parts in this story that it's like, okay, so there's GameStop in the center of it, along with all these other companies, but GameStop seems to be like the poster child. You've got Wall Street flipping out, you've got Congress flipping out, the SEC flipping out, Robin Hood completely like
Yeah.
just going against what it says it stands for, and then Reddit, and then all these individual investors. Like, it's just like there's so many moving parts to this story that it's just like, holy shit. And all because these little guys on Reddit were like, you know what, fuck you. And the memes that I liked, I know I said I didn't like the girls with like the, you know, I have big boobs, I don't need to know what this is. Fuck you, you
Yeah.
moron. You could have made a lot of money had you known what it was. Just a clue, just a hint. But anyway,
For even bigger boobs.
exactly. But my point being is the ones that the memes I did like were the ones that were like oh, this one. Wall Street with the quote unquote, you better stop that. My dad's a lawyer energy right now.
Oh no.
Another tweet says, I know this GameStop stuff is funny, but you have to remember that this is hurting real people who own multiple boats.
Right. You know, come on. I know they took a hit, but
No,
but
right.
you know what? And I know you don't have all your money invested in GameStop. Get the fuck out of here. You started out with money, most likely, 9 times out of 10, and your money is invested all over the place. You don't have any actual
Right.
money. It's not like you have a room full of $100 million. All your shit is invested, you know?
Oh, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
But my favorite part was my favorite meme was a meme. It was like a Japanese anime meme, and it was this like little anime girl hiding under a desk, and it says, it labels her as hedge funds, right? And then it's got this big robot that's clearly like hunting for her, and it says individual investors with a $600 stimulus check.
Shut up. Oh my God.
Well, that's what they were like. A lot of the memes that I liked the best were the people that were like, oh yeah, Wall Street? Well, guess what? We got $600 stimulus checks. We're going all in on GameStop.
Right. Honestly, I was surprised. I thought that it was something. So originally, I thought that it was something to like boost up, like maybe people were starting to go to GameStop just to keep them from going out of, because I thought they were going out of business. Because I haven't gone to GameStop in probably 10 years because that's, you know,
Right.
the kids don't. Sophia has one of
They
those.
don't do that, right?
Right. You know, Sophia has what is that thing called? An Xbox One. But she downloads all of her games that she plays and movies and apps.
So does George.
And everything else. So she doesn't have games sitting around. So I didn't even. So I thought, you know, okay, well, maybe they're just going out of business, and maybe they're trying to save them from going out of business by buying shares of their stock and trying to boost it up. And then whenever I started looking at everything, and I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck is going on? What's going on? And then whenever you called me and you were like, no, this is what's going on, I was like, I am so confused. Like, I don't understand what the hell is going on here, but okay. Well,
Well, Tanya thought it was like rich people getting more rich off of it. And I was like, no. This is about rich people losing money. Like,
right.
Because short selling isn't, it's, I don't know. Here's the danger in short selling and why only professionals should do it. And quite frankly, I don't necessarily think short selling is good to begin with. That's just my opinion. But the short selling is dangerous because if I buy a stock for, $10, right? all I can lose is that $10,
Right.
right? With short selling, because theoretically, the price of a stock can just keep going up and up and up, and I have to buy it back. I could theoretically lose an infinite amount of money.
Right.
And that's why short selling is incredibly risky. And people are like, no, only professionals, only professionals. Don't. But I mean, even that, obviously, even professionals can get screwed once the little guy figures out how the game works. And guess what? Now that a lot more people, just from this story, are going to understand what short selling is, this is going to get worse. Like, people are going to keep this, like, if you think this is the last time that this is going to happen, these little individual investors fucking with the big guys, you're crazy. This is going to keep happening.
Oh yeah, yeah. And you know what? They're so now that it's like it's out there, right? People will just like, okay, so for example, like you have all these people on YouTube and you had the first couple of them that were like, oh, well, everybody likes me. And now that's an actual fucking business. Now these normal people have figured out how to make all this money on YouTube to put on makeup or to show you how to, change a light bulb or whatever. Like, people make money off of things that are just so simple now. And guarantee, like, people have figured this out and they're going to start doing it. They will start doing it. And you know who's the only people that are going to be mad are the people who in the past have profited the most off of it, because how dare somebody take their little $50 and invest it and make some money off of it to secure their future? Oh, how dare
somebody
them.
Somebody still has to wash my car.
Right.
If the person washing my car makes any money and is able to get ahead, who will wash my car?
Right.
Like, that feels like the attitude.
That's what it is, And when people figure out how to do something, they're just mad because now there's people that they're going to beat you at your own
Somebody
game.
else cracked the code.
Because Right. They're going to beat you at your own game because you know why? Their need is more than yours. You're fine losing $100,000. A bitch like me can't afford to lose $5. So these people who have figured this out and have started to invest and do this, they're going to be the people that, okay, you know what? This is how I did this and I made money. I can be secure in my future now and I can afford to send my kid to college and I can do, but the people who are already there don't want that. They don't want that. And that's why working class stays where they're at and the rich just keep getting richer. It's disgusting.
Yeah. All right, so let's wrap this up with our hashtag not all Karens email.
Okay.
I'm going to read this to you. So Karen sent us, she says, Happy New Year. Thanks for the shout out in the last episode. As much as I'd like to dish on my Trumpster parents' response to the attacks on the Capitol, we were celebrating a birthday. So ixnay on the tray was the policy of the day. I like that. My mom was in a very snippy mood Wednesday morning. Because if you remember, we talked about that Wednesday morning. We found out that Ossoff and Warnock won.
Right. And people were not well.
Right. So she says, my mom was in a very snippy mood Wednesday morning, proclaiming, Congratulations, you have control of the country now. In response to the election of Warnock and Ossoff. I can tell you what was different this weekend. Fox News was no longer blaring on the TV. The Blaze website was not open on the laptop. I can presume that although they still believe in the massive voter fraud lie, they were probably extremely distressed about the attack and the loss of life. I don't think they'll ever admit that the small number of protester deaths was because of white privilege, or if I hear some, quote, it was Antifa infiltrators who are really responsible for the attack bullshit next weekend. I'm not a particularly religious person, but I pray that there won't be some horrifying event on the state capitol marches on the 17th or during the inauguration. Girl, we were right there with you. I was holding my breath all fucking day.
I had the news on that whole week while I was working because I was just so worried that something was going to happen. And then people were saying stuff like, don't hold the inauguration outside. because you don't know what's going to happen to Biden and Kamala Harris. I mean, it was there was just so much worry and angst like the entire week because nobody knew what these yahoos were going to do.
And then when the day, like honestly, right before I went to bed, I feel like I literally thought to myself, like, we got through the day and nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
And as soon as I thought that, I just started crying, just out of relief.
Yeah.
Like, because it was like so much tension. And I was like, oh, we got through the day.
But
Thank God.
I think we felt that sort of anxiety anytime Barack Obama would speak publicly as well.
Oh God, yeah.
When
Absolutely.
he was at the DNC accepting the nomination for the first time and the second time, and during his inaugurations and during
his acceptance speech, I was a mess.
Yes, I mean just the overall like emotion that came over you anyways, realizing what was going on, but then to know that Secret Service was hyped up intentionally because this black man was taking a spot away from a white man, and that so, and I feel like that's what they had to do was go back to that during the last month since the 6th, because you didn't know what these fruit balls were going to do, like these people.
No.
And then you have people like that Marjorie Clark Green, whatever that fucking weirdo that's running around talking about Jewish space lasers and
space lasers. Oh my God.
Shit.
And did you see what Matt Gaetz said about her speech? This is creepy to me.
So
Matt Gaetz is the square-headed dude, like, who is from Florida, who's super, like, sucks Trump's dick whenever he can.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He actually said, after her speech where she said, oh, and by the way, 9/11 did happen. Okay, thanks for letting us know, you weirdo.
Right.
After that speech, Matt Gaetz was like, her speech was so good, I almost needed a cigarette by the time it was over.
God.
Ew. 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 First of all, her resting face, she looks like Jonathan Taylor Thomas, all grown up from Home Improvement.
Shut up.
Look at her face, bro. I'm telling you. It's creepy, right? So, and for you to say that this woman's speech where she said, by the way, 9/11 did happen, and so do school shootings, and you think that speech is so good you needed a cigarette, it gave you such a hard on.
Right.
That's disgusting.
That it was
like
orgasmic.
you just told everybody that the grown-up Jonathan Taylor Thomas admitting reality gave you a Woody.
Right.
What is wrong with
sick
you?
Are you?
Something is seriously disturbed with you. But anyway, so Karen says, I'm with the people who believe that Trump must be impeached and convicted to prevent him from holding any federal office in the future and to deny him any taxpayer-funded pension, taxpayer-funded travel expenses, or taxpayer-funded Secret Service protection for him and his spawn, except for Barron. The kid is an innocent trapped in the company of disgusting, selfish, greedy, soulless kin. Totally agree. Leave Barron alone.
Yeah.
That poor kid has done nothing.
Yeah.
Like, just leave him alone. Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley must be expelled from the Senate. If there are no consequences for the seditious actions of those at the top, the same thing could happen again and even succeed during the 2024 presidential election or in 2 years at the state level. If Republicans really want this country to, quote, put this behind us and heal, they need to declare unwaveringly that this was the most secure election in history and there is no proof whatsoever of widespread voter fraud, and repudiate it in the strongest terms possible, QAnon, the Proud Boys, and all others of their ilk. Remember, it's only a coup if it's from the coup d'etat region of France. Otherwise, it's just sparkling white supremacy.
Sparkling.
On that note, my socialist sisters, love your faces. So then she sent us an update. Hold on, I gotta find the other Karen email. There we go. Q reaction update. That's what she titled it. Hello, Q crew. So this weekend was the, quote, harder core Trump fan of the family. They, one, said, voiced her chagrin that her neighbors still have their Black Lives Matter flag up. Number two, was outraged, her relative was outraged about talk of quote unquote conservatives needing to be quote deprogrammed because she wasn't going to some Chinese style re-education camp. I told her, I love this. Karen, this is my favorite. Karen says, I told her if she disagreed with the attack on the Capitol, doesn't follow QAnon, and doesn't believe that the Democratic Party is headed by a lizard people, child molesting, human trafficking cabal operating out of the basement of a DC pizza parlor that has no basement, then they're not fucking talking about her.
Jesus Christ.
I love that, Karen. Like, I'm not going to be deprogrammed. Well, if you don't believe all this bonkers bullshit, they're not talking about you, you weirdo. But that is who they're talking about. But even then, it wouldn't be whatever. Doesn't matter. Number three, her relative also said that the Capitol attack was planned by not real Trump supporters, because real Trump supporters would never do such a horrible thing. And number four, the impeachment proceeding against Trump are just a political stunt to punish the best president we've ever had and waste money. And then she says, I can't list any more without my head exploding. Sincerely, and love your faces. Q as in, Q as in Q-Vody. I love it. Then she sent us another message on our, in our Q as in Cucumber Facebook page. If I can get to the page, it would be very helpful. All right, so she said, email addendum. Her relative also, she also gives the middle finger to the TV when Fauci is on and calls the media coverage of the DC attack so, quote, unfair and nasty because they refer to the insurrectionists as, quote unquote, Trump supporters. They are. They are Trump supporters.
Yeah, and like you hear all this stuff about how it's actually the Trump resistors, and they
it's
put
actually
on the
Antifa.
MAGA hats and they went out there and they did this, and it's yeah, okay. So if your parents fought in like your grandparents whatever fought in what, World War I, World War II, then they were Antifa.
Like, it's just bizarre.
I don't think they quite understand exactly what all that means. I think that they hear something and feel like because the big tangerine turd said it that it's for fuck's sake, it's the end of the world, and it's the be all end all, it's the gospel.
So I think we're gonna wrap this one up. So once I'm done with this deep dive, God, I need to go lay down. I'm so sick. Like, my head is super fuzzy. I'm just like, oh God. Yesterday I completely lost my voice, and it's starting to go right now. I can feel it. But once I'm done with this deep dive, I really want to get together in person and do it, because I feel like our deep dives are better in person. Oh, I need to one of the things that in Karen's email she sent a video. I think this is something about the deodorant, the Luxie deodorant. Do you know what she's talking about? She sent this video that she said was for you. Or Lumi.
Oh, is it the aluminum free deodorant? Because I need aluminum free deodorant.
Oh,
yeah, and
that's what
yeah,
this
so
is.
I tried the alcohol based one. Somebody sent me a thing for one made out of alcohol, and it irritated
Okay,
me
that explains
so
this video.
bad.
She sent. Okay.
And yeah, and here's the thing, like I know why, because they removed so many lymph nodes. Like I rarely get hair under my arms now, and I don't sweat, but I still would like to use deodorant just in case, like, it could be a Tuesday in July and I just start sweating out of nowhere. You never know. So I still want to use deodorant.
So there's this natural deodorant that she sent. It's called Lumi, but they created this fake 6-minute, like, condensed Hallmark movie about the Lumi deodorant it's a 6-minute advertisement, and it's completely mocking the Hallmark movies. It's fucking hilarious. You have to watch it. I couldn't figure out what she was talking about, but I'm telling you, watch that video. It's hilarious. You can we can talk about it next time.
Yeah.
Or message her on the Facebook inbox app to let her know that you got it,
Lord.
'cause it's actually really funny. And I'll put it on our Facebook page for everybody.
God.
It's pretty fucking hilarious. But yeah, we'll do our deep dive hopefully soon. Hopefully I can finish getting through the book here in the next like 2 weeks
let
or
me
so.
know.
But until next time, I'm Lara Mack.
And I'm Tanya Edwards.
Love your faces.
Smooches.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.